What's up, boys? Data782 here, and the breaking news has just dropped that John Tavares is off to the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I've made some roster moves: Tavares to the Leafs, JVR to the Flyers, Bozak to the Blues, and I'm going to do a quick season simulation, see how Tavares does on the now powerhouse Toronto Maple Leafs, at least for this season, without having to re-sign Nylander or Marner yet. So in a one-season vacuum, see how they do. Salary cap, morale off, waivers, forget the waiver. Keep them on, morale off. I'll keep CPU trades off as well. I want to keep the league as much. Assistant coach edit lines, yeah. We'll do that because I want to. I didn't make edits for the entire league. Like all the trades and signings that have been made since the deadline. But I did, hold on. Superstar, sure. I did move around just players on the Leafs at least. I want to see how the Leafs are going to do with Tavares in the lineup. Will they make a huge difference? Can they make a push for the playoffs? Will they make a Stanley Cup Finals appearance? Could they even win a cup with Toronto now, with Tavares on the team? So let's set up the lines and see how the team looks with Tavares in them. So here will be the lines for this season. Tavares will play first line center, with Austin Matthews right behind him on the second line. Not sure why he's a low elite player, but whatever. The center depth is a bit rough. Leo Komarov is having to play fourth line center. Zach Hyman should be, let's see, Kadri's a center. Kadri will play third line. Komarov up here, Moore here. Hyman will play there actually. Martin, yeah, there we go. Those would be the lines. Riley Gardner, yeah, weak defensively, that's for sure. Should I put Marlowe on that first line? Yeah, I will put Marlowe on that first line. I think that's going to be more realistic, I feel, in the NHL. Tavares will go here. Yeah, whatever. I'll let the computer do the rest. Anderson, McElhinney backing him up a bit weaker. I don't think he's even on the team anymore in real life, but that is aside from the point. So let's simulate up to the All-Star break, let's say, and see how the Maple Leafs are doing with John Tavares in the lineup. I also forgot to say that injuries will be off for the simulation. Assistant coach will edit the lines. Yes, auto-rotate the goalies. And no scouting assignment warnings. Perfect. Let's continue on simulating. So we're on the end of January now, the All-Star break or so. Leafs are a very good record of 31, 18, and 2. John Tavares, 32 goals, 51 points in 51 games, leading the way for Toronto. Behind him, William Nylander, Nazem Kadri, Austin Matthews, only 37 points, but you know, on the second line, it's understandable, I guess. Gardner, 24 with a plus 19, that's good. Nathan Horton's playing what? They even realized that. He's on the fourth line. They really have no one else, I guess. I'm going to change that, just keep it a bit more realistic. I don't know why. I don't know how I missed that, actually. But let's go back to the lines. Actually, I think it was because the assistant coach called him up. I think it was something like that, because I don't believe that Horton was there. I think it was, yeah, it was Kapanen, or I think it was Lievo, actually. I'm going to call these guys both up. Send down Horton. Alright, so lines are going to go back to like this. Hopefully the assistant coach doesn't touch them too much, because I want them to stay like that. In the AHL, yeah, just fix those, best lines. Yeah, okay, we'll continue with that now. So we'll keep on simulating now. We'll go to the end of the regular season, and we'll see where the Leafs finish in terms of a playoff spot. So the Maple Leafs end the season with an impressive 47, 29, and 6 record. I'm guessing that's good enough for probably first, if not first, then likely second in the Atlantic. Usually it's not too strong in the first season, the Atlantic Division is. So let's check out the team standings. Second, yeah, Tampa Bay right ahead of 109. So 84 points, a 50-goal season for John Tavares with the Toronto Maple Leafs, as would be expected. 84 points behind him, Marner, Nylander, Matthews back there. Matthews only 60 points and 17 goals, but what are you going to do? How did those changes go afterwards? Yeah, Lievo had 5 points in 31 games. Okay, all right. So a big season for John Tavares. He's doing what I said he would do, lead the way, in a team that is not as good defensively and not great depth-wise, forward-wise. He is leading the way, and they are having success. So kudos to him as we move into the playoffs against the Boston Bruins in round number 1. What can the Toronto Maple Leafs do against Boston? A win in the game number 1, a win in game number 2, a loss, another loss, down 3-1. Don't tell me that's it. Ooh boy, this is it. Could they be eliminated by the Boston Bruins here in the first round? Ooh boy. Power play Boston first period. Let's simulate. Oh, power play Toronto. All right. First period simulation. No goals for either team. Shots 14-12 for Toronto. Heading into the second period. Goal for Boston. Patrice Bergeron. Shots 26-20 for Toronto. They can't beat Tuukka Rask. Well, oh, Nazem Kadri does. Only 52 seconds into the third. And then John Tavares makes it 2-1 for Toronto. Trying to push for a game 7. Power play Toronto again. Half of the third period gone. 2-1 lead. Can they hang on? Out shooting by about 10 shots. 5 minutes left in the third period. 2-1. Patrick Marleau throws in an empty netter, and the Toronto Maple Leafs are forcing a game 7 against the Boston Bruins. Game 7 here against the Bruins. Can the Maple Leafs go to the second round of the playoffs, led by John Tavares, who I believe had the game-winning goal in game number 6. So first period, goal for Rick Nash on Frederik Andersen. Second period, goal for Danton Heinen. So the Leafs are down by 2, headed into the third period, outshooting the Bruins by 5. Down by 2. DeBrusk makes it 3-0. That may just be it for Toronto. That may just be it. Another disappointing first-round exit at the hands of the Boston Bruins. John Tavares, though, says, I'm not done. 3-1. But DeBrusk says, yes, you are. And then Marleau comes back to make it 4-2. 5 minutes left. But Charlie McAvoy makes it 5-2. Goals everywhere. And that'll be it. The Bruins eliminate the Leafs in Game 7. Leafs outshot the Bruins by 1, but lose by 3. Tough finish. DeBrusk with 2 goals. Wish he could do that in my Montreal series. A tough finish for the Toronto Maple Leafs, who get eliminated in 7 games. But John Tavares, 9 points in 7 games, led the way. So you gotta give it to Johnny T. 84 points, 50 goals. 6 goals in 7 games in the playoffs with 9 points. He is definitely leading the way for Toronto and will be a force to be reckoned with in the real world. And they definitely need to do it sooner rather than later in the NHL before next season they have to restart re-signing people and money is tight. So I'm going to check out the money situation in the contract phase and then we'll close this one out. Arizona Coyotes win the Stanley Cup. What? How? Who do they have on their team to win the cup? What? The Arizona Coyotes Stanley Cup champions in year number 1. That is crazy. Who is on Arizona? Arizona Coyotes. Ekman Larson at 75 points. Stepan 59. Domi 54. He should go to Montreal, I guess, but still, that's weird. They didn't have the greatest season. Nothing crazy. No one crazy besides Ekman Larson. Doesn't make sense. Who went off in the playoffs? Arizona. Let's go look at the entire league. Max Domi, 21 points in 21 games. All right. Stepan 18, Keller 16, Larson 15. All right. Wow. Not the likeliest of teams, but Arizona Coyotes Stanley Cup champions in year 1 simulation there. That is a surprise. So just to quickly look at the contract space that the Maple Leafs have. So John Tavares, he's costing them in real world, I think he's costing about 11 mil. So if I were to sign him, he's getting 7 years. I think it's 11 mil, could be 12, but I'm not sure if they'll even let me go that high. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I'll go 7 years, 11 mil, just to try and keep it as realistic as possible. Then I'll advance a day, and then we'll see how much cap we have left to work with. Yeah, so Tavares signs that contract, nice and easy. So how much money are we left with to sign the rest of the team? How much money will Toronto have in the real world? Not to mention whoever else they get this upcoming season. So they have, let's go to UFAs first. 10.84 million. Let's say Moore is released, Lupul's released, Smith is released. Oop. Smith will be released if they could let me click it. Greening will be released. Komarov, how much does he want? Probably going to be released. RFAs, all right. Nylander, they have to get him I'm guessing he's going to go for about 7-ish million. So I'm going to say, like, let's say if he's 6 years and 7 mil, something like that, because no EHEs in the real world. 7 mil, that leaves about 3.8 for Kapanen, Carrick. Okay, not the hardest thing in the world, but then you look at, okay, next season after that, I have to re-sign, let's see. Sorry, I should go by overall. Next season after that, they have to re-sign, so yeah, so Matthews, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong case. So they'll have to re-sign Matthews, Marner, they'll have, Nylander will be signed, Marlowe's coming up. Yeah, it's not looking good for the cap space. So Toronto definitely has to get it done this next season in the real world. But that is a simulation of John Tavares and the Leafs. A great season, a great playoffs, but just not a good enough team to get it done. So that is it for this experiment, and thank you for watching.